blue.
And it looks like close positions by air. Qxc doing a little bit of an awkward split. He's spawning at the right position as the red Terran versus Stalife as the blue Terran from Team Nova in the north.
So Stalife was able to play pretty, long macro-oriented game there. Did really well versus Qxc. We have the closer positions now, and it seems to me like the way that Qxc has been playing, this is certainly going to favor him and what he typically wants to do.
Yeah, Qxc is just the master of dropship harass. I have seen some incredible games of his, in particular his games against Huck at IEM and Comic-Con. The fact that he was dropping for probably 20 or 30 minutes straight just to try to chip little advantages off his opponent, but as we've seen, the best way to deal with it is just to have extremely consistent, solid, patient defense. We do see that supply depot from Qxc planted in the Banshee spotting location. Stalife planting his depot in the better economic position.
Yeah, and you know what, Qxc, if you are going to be one of those guys that is going to do a lot of drops, do a lot of Banshee play, you're probably going to learn that setting up this defense, because you're cackling as your Banshees are destroying things because they didn't have anything to spot it coming in, and so Qxc seems to be really good at that spotting. You'll see that whole edge just littered with those supply depots to get that extra vision. Both players with scouts out, and they will scout and meet right about in the middle on the lower portion.
Looks like nothing too out of the ordinary going on from either player, both scouting those proxies first, as you said. Kind of curious to see if anyone will do some sort of fast expand with lots of Marines and Marauders. On this map, it's just very, very easy to control space with very mobile forces. As we can see, even though these lanes do constrict movement a little bit, they're still quite wide, so the Marines and Marauders can easily delay those tanks from being pushed through there too aggressively. Qxc morphing his thing into an orbital command, and again, just continuing to ring his base with those supply depots.
And morphing his thing. I like
doing
that.
His thing, man.
I do like that. Qxc putting that supply depot behind the smoke, always good as well. Get drops in there, make sure you got vision. Marine coming out, and Marine already out here for Stalife. He's actually going to proactively move forward to make sure that there's no way Qxc is going to get into this space. And Qxc going to be pretty good with that just SCV movement, trying to get him around. Probably going to actually end up saving that one as well. Meanwhile, Qxc will have his Marines much, much forward.
Wow. I mean, this little move by Stalife, this is almost very Qxc-like. I mean, Qxc is very, very aggressive with all his units at all points in time, but we see Stalife being the first one to really take initiative for shutting down some early harassment. Qxc getting an uncharacteristically fast second gas. Ooh. Normally we'd be thinking that he would be in all aggro mode, but it looks like Stalife taking his refinery at approximately the same time. There's the reactor going down, and is there a little SCV?
Oh, there was just
happening?
a little SCV battle. I didn't mean to get so excited, but Mr. Qxc SCV walked away with 2 hit points. Actually, some good control. He moved it away and let the Marine clean things up. So just, keep on top of things.
Awesome. More supply depot placement at the corners of his base by Qxc. We're also seeing starports come up from both, but it looks like Stallife's gearing up to do one basing a little bit longer with those muscular units, the Marines and the Hellions, just getting those out earlier on instead of the cutesy techie units like the Banshees. Qxc, though, does look like he's gearing up to do some sort of Banshee with Cloak Harass. Does have one Hellion out, and it looks like it's going to meet up with this Hellion in the center of the map. Oh, Qxc looks like he is going to try to win every little battle that he can. Look at this. Qxc always having his units on the aggression.
Yeah, perfect timing there, and as you mentioned, that Xel'Naga Tower is going to be oh so important in this matchup. The Hellion is going to come back up to the natural, not peek up there, see what is going on. He's just going to continue to scout around. Meanwhile, those Marines stay outside of Qxc's base, and we do have that Banshee finally underway with Cloak right behind it, so he will have that in full harass very, very soon.
One thing, though, I'm a little concerned about, look at how close that medevac is from being completed, but look at how long it is for that Banshee to be completed. There's the scan, and if we go to the unit counting station, we see it's 7 Marines and 3 Hellions out for Stalife, and 7 Marines and 1 Hellion out for Qxc. This drop could do tremendous damage if he does it very quickly and very well. Looks like he's just going to go for the Hellions and do the defensive play, get the bunker up but this Banshee is increasingly close to finishing.
All right, we do have a bunch of Marines moving into position, too. If he drops those Hellions before he has any idea, with the help of that Banshee, might be able to do some good damage. However, he's smart. Stalife isn't going to just throw away units like that. And he does also have a clear vision of that Banshee, obviously. So although he may not have gotten to drop, he did get a good idea on what is going on. And here comes the Banshee into the back here for Qxc.
Looks like it's going to be able to get a few shots off, but there is that missile turret up. Keep in mind, missile turrets can see farther than they can shoot, so you don't need that many turrets on your base if you have a lot of mobile forces. Qxc, though, more than happy to pick off some of these Marines. Picking off these Marines is another way of saying it doesn't matter that you built this reactor early on.
Yeah, and
numbers low.
He's also getting the gas SCVs, which I really like. You know, to do that myself, but just to try to get rid of those players sometimes won't repopulate them, and you're just delaying their gas even more. Meanwhile, just almost toying with these Marines, and does have enough for a scan, but waiting for this Raven.
Doesn't want to waste any scans if he can turn them into mules. Trying to swing around the backside, and now he does have that Raven out. Qxc looks like he was gearing up to leave anyways, but at the same time, a Hellion just walks right into the front as the Hellion continues to pick away. Really, really nice timing and a good read on his opponent. Seems like it would be a classic mistake for the opponent to leave nothing at the front, but it seems like enough players do it that Qxc's happy to give it a shot anyways, and the Banshee escapes, and the Hellion finally dies. But I mean, look at this. 17 SCVs in total. Wow, 19 SCVs in total, and Qxc has production going so smoothly.
Yeah, he's also moving out a nice little force here, continuing that Banshee harass in the back of the base yet again. Doesn't even need to go after anything, just kind of setting off those alarms, killing some Marines along the way, and he is just dwindling down those numbers. Finally, a Viking comes out here for Stalife, and he will manage to likely take out this Banshee. Let's see, he's going to cloak up. It's all about the speed of that Raven.
And
oh my God, I think he thought he had it.
Oh,
there it is.
Just barely picks it off, but Qxc is not done. Look at this gigantic push at the front, and even the Banshee there to help get vision. Qxc now moving up with all of his Marines and tanks, and it looks like there is nothing here for Stalife to be able to defend. The bunker falls, and now all the SCVs are popping off for Stalife. Qxc is happy to just target these SCVs individually, as we see 13 SCVs out right now for 14 SCVs for Stalife and 32 out for Qxc.
Yeah, that was very devastating. Even though he lost several units there, he's going to have another force that's going to be ready to go real quick. Meanwhile, Stalife's forced to go with some sort of economic response to that huge loss there. He's getting more SCVs. He's going to have to drop as many mules as he can. But no, instead he's going to build 2 more barracks.
Oh, it looks like this cloaked Banshee might end up falling. That would be a nice little break for Stalife, but unfortunately it retreats back into safety a little bit too quickly, and Qxc is just going to happily sit for a while, as he has almost double his opponent's food count.
Yeah, that's scary too. 66 to 38 and such a substantial army left behind. And you'll notice the Qxc not necessarily going in for the kill here, even though he knows he obliterated a ton of SCVs. He's, you know, just taking his gas, making sure his natural's up. He knows that his opponent doesn't have one. I think he saw the command center, but there he's going to move out. I think he's going to continue to just be in really good shape from here. Play smart.
Yeah, definitely love this sort of follow-up. Qxc even has enough money to begin an expansion of his own, but instead is opting for those essential Marine upgrades, now throwing down a whole bunch more barracks. Should be starting this combat shield shortly, as that is another essential upgrade against those siege tanks. Stalife trying to find some place to plant these medevacs, but really there's, again, not really too many good places, too many cute places to abuse on Metalopolis.
More Banshee harass, and 2 Vikings come out. They will take out this Viking and take out the Raven, and that is going to be a huge loss for Stalife here. That is going to give him pretty much air superiority here. With 1 tech lab going down, he'll be able to take out this other tech lab, and even if he rebuilds, literally takes away a lot of production time there, and this is really nasty. Meanwhile, in the main base,
Stalife trying to do anything he can, getting in position, but Qxc is very patiently reworking all his troops, more than happy to let one of these barracks fall. He's going to lift the other one and just use this 1 siege tank to pick off all these outlying Marines and Marauders. Qxc actually refusing to engage this directly.
Yeah, he is, and one more siege tank at risk of being lost here. Here comes the Cloak Banshee, and there is nothing that Stalife can do about that. Very nicely done as he's going to lay off a few of these Marines, but look at that, just picking them off. Finally has to pick that up and get those tanks out of there.
Does look like there's another drop going on in the back of the base. Qxc never wants to stop attacking, and it is a very, very rough thing to have to deal with, because look at this, another drop in the main. Siege tank sieged up, but all these Marines and Marauders now moving through the front side. Stalife has almost nothing left to defend it, so he is just going to have to take the heavy SCV loss again.
Yeah, and he's going to get all these guys up at the front, even if he brings any reinforcements over here. His natural is going to be severely hurt. He's actually targeting the orbital command, letting the Hellion go after the SCVs. There is a siege tank outside that could do some significant damage to these units, but all these transferring SCVs just getting just wasted by this Hellion. More mules coming down, but not before it takes the Hellion is taken out. 54 harvesters to 26 harvesters.
Qxc still playing very well. He's going to try to be relentlessly aggressive and then do the same thing he did against Machine. Just keep on expanding while trying to keep his opponent in the same situation. Stalife trying to advance forward. Stalife even expanding to a third himself. He knows how key it is for him to get more and more bases. Stalife could set up a good tank line and try to do something useful with them, but it looks like he's actually trying to go for more and more aggressive pushing.
Yeah, and actually this medevac just loaded up as well, so if he moves forward, he will have a few less units, but it looks like Stalife is okay just sieging up right here, trying to get anything that might be going for the ramp. Meanwhile, 3 medevacs completely full of all sorts of bad stuff is heading over to Stalife's base, and here we go, eating away at Stalife from the core.
And it looks like all these units pouring out from Qxc's main will create a nice defense for him, while Qxc just eats through this main. The one siege tank at the backside, Qxc sieging up 2 of his own. It looks like he will be able to take this tank out first, and there are tons of SCVs scattering through the middle. Can't really quite surround anything. Stalife trying to hold on, but it looks like the drop will end up killing off every single SCV and unit. And there's the good game. Qxc, now the grand champion of the 4th EG Masters Cup. He has won himself $1,000. And of course, there's Stalife thanking everyone for the EG tournament. That will wrap up the main part. Hey, we're getting some thank yous, man.
Woo, and there we go. Those are 2 finalists right there. It was Qxc and Stalife. I'll tell you what, Sean, we saw some amazing games. Qxc played really well. I was happy to see Stalife pull a game away from Qxc. He still walks away with $500, but Qxc not only winning the cool grand, but now he has in his possession a golden ticket.